Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Technical Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. So if you guys have ever tuned on into our Sunday Stock Talk, or for those that really haven't, we host one of these every single Sunday normally at 6:30 p.m. Right now in Arizona, which is where I'm based at, it's 6:05 p.m. So we are a little bit early today. I hope that you guys are okay with that. And throughout this video, all we ask you to do is if you want me to break down your stock, that you post it in the ticker call out format. So I'm super excited to follow up. The overall market had a super bullish week, which was a step in the right direction. One of the things that we were talking about last week is in preparation, just in case, right? We hope that the market continues to push up. How many of you guys hope that the market continues to push up? But one of the things that we're noticing right now with the overall NASDAQ market, this is /NQ, which is the NASDAQ index, right? And we are approaching, this is the 180-day analysis, and we can see that we are a little bit more on the overbought side, meaning that we are reaching 180-day highs, which is, again, super great. Can we exceed 180-day highs? 100%. But just know that once we tend to reach these overbought levels, for it to correct itself and pull back, is part of the process. It literally pulls back almost every single time that it makes new highs. So I'm excited to follow up this week. I'm excited to see if we get one step closer to exceeding this 180-day high and preparing for a potential pullback. At the end of the day, nothing has to happen. No one can predict the future, but the whole idea is to simply prepare. And that's what we want to do in this video, and simply talk about what stocks our members within this video see value in for this upcoming week. So if you see value in a specific stock, just make sure, if it's not too much to ask, that you ask it in the ticker call out format. I'm actually gonna pin. We got Jaspel posted the ticker call out format. Oh, we actually have Ismail, so I'm just gonna pin his. Sorry about that. I'm gonna actually keep Jaspel. So Jaspel is just someone that's tuning on in. I appreciate you posting that one, Ish, though. But I'm gonna go with the Jaspel. So I really hope that you learned something new. Again, friendly reminder, especially if you're just getting started, please know that not all of the stocks that we talk about today are to be added to your watch list. That should make sense to you, because you shouldn't see value. You're selective, right? You shouldn't see value in everything. My goal throughout this entire video, first, is to smash that like button, right? If you feel like we earned it. And second is for you to cherry pick. Out of the 10 stocks, if it's just 2 or 3 of the 10 stocks that you resonate well with, that you feel like, hey, I do see value in this, I want to add it to my watch list because I potentially want to invest in it in the future, then add it to your watch list. But be selective. I'm always here to encourage you to be selective and never be afraid to say no, right? Even if you miss out on an opportunity, guess what? The beautiful thing about the stock market is you have nothing but time to make money. So I'm gonna, without taking too much of your guys' time, I'm going to say what's up to a couple of the people that are tuning on in. So if you're tuning on in and you want to comment, just so I can see your name, I'd love to say what's up to you. I'm back in Arizona. I just flew in just 2 hours ago, and I'm excited to go live tomorrow. So let me know if you guys are excited as well. So we got Zaire. What's going on? So love the Sunday Stock Talks every week, Ricky. Thank you. What's going on? So I'm not Daniel. What's going on? Andrew. We got Jason, Christopher. We got Monica, Justin De Silva, my boy Richard. What's going on, my dude? So we got Dustin, Juan, Jude, Andre, Hector, Juan, TC Mahala. What's going on, my guy? We got Benjamin, Nathan, Acacia Hunt. Hope you're doing well. Monica, we got Riley, Leonard, Jason, Penny Stock, Chris. We got Denny Saeed. Got a couple people here. So we got Worthy Gains. There we go. So we got Nathan, Rachel, Corey, Viren. I'm trying to read your guys' names, but some of them are a little bit difficult. TK Grind. Here we go. So we got Ivan Cisneros, Marco Garcia, Jim Cannon, Omar Banano. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Ryan Crew. Is that my dude, Ryan? Is that my neighbor? But yeah, hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. Without further ado, we got Nathaniel here. Didn't miss you. Emmanuel, what's up? What's up? Pickle Illuminati, what's going on? So I really hope that you guys learned something new. If you guys do, it really helps out the channel. I hope that you can consider dropping a thumbs up, as it really helps us out. But let's go ahead and get started. If you want me to break down your stock, all you have to do is comment this down below. So we got the real one with what is that? CHPT. So we got CHPT. Here we go. So CHPT on the 180-day chart. Let me ask you, looking at this very quickly, does this look like something that's about to continue to push up, or does this look like something that's currently getting rejected, right? This thing was previously something that was bullish, but as of right now, the SMA line has been acting as a resistance like a lot of other stocks, right? And it recently pushed up. It's looking a little bit more on the overbought side, and it looks like it's currently descending. 100%, can it find a support and begin to pick back up? Of course, set your alerts and follow up with it. But as of right now, it is more bearish than it is bullish, and it has a lot of margin to potentially give on back. So just make sure you take that into consideration. I'd be very, very careful with buying in a little early on that. So we got Travis K with ticker symbol DKNG, which is DraftKings. So DKNG, I did hear a lot of news about them this upcoming week. So DraftKings has been a company that's been very, very bullish, especially during the pandemic, right? We experienced the pullback like a lot of tech did, but it's been recovering ever since. And looking, this trust me, I understand if a lot of you guys don't see value in this just because it might be inconsistent. You might not understand the company. You should never be convinced. If someone tries to convince you to invest in something, there should be a huge red flag going on. It should be something that you see value in, that you understand the upside versus the downside, the opportunity cost. And if it makes sense to you, great. And if it doesn't make sense to you and it ends up going up, who cares? Take it as a lesson learned, and better prepare yourself the next time. That's all, right? You don't have to always have the fear of missing out or feel encouraged to take a position that you might not be ready to tolerate, right? So what I want to talk about on this one is DKNG based off of 180-day highs at $74.38 is at right now it is a little bit more on the oversold side. It is a decent deal based off of recent highs. And what I mean by that is from where it's at as of right now, based off previous highs, offers about 18% potential if it makes a full recovery. But it doesn't have to, right? It can easily get rejected. We've seen it more now than ever before, where it can get rejected by the SMA line, old support levels acting as new resistance levels. So what I want to remind you is confirmation is so important. And as of right now, DraftKings isn't uptrending. It's not showing signs of higher highs and higher lows. So maybe be selective, set effective alerts, and once you get proper indication of an uptrend, then maybe you can follow up with DraftKings and see if it's something that, hey, I wouldn't mind putting a small or opening up a small position on it when it makes sense. Obviously, the margin is there. It makes sense in that sense. I just want to make sure that you understand both sides, right? It can easily get rejected, and it has been getting rejected by that SMA line. So just make sure you take that into consideration. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So this is Salt Life 1717 LMT. So let's go ahead and break this down. So LMT looks like it's been killing it. I want to see your analysis very quickly if I can catch it. So, all right, so you've been adding since 350. Okay, so you've been doing really well. So from 350 to where it's at as of right now, 10% is what you're up already. What I want to bring up to you is it has earnings on the 20th. So 420. Little dad joke, right? Okay, I'm done with jokes. But 420, right, is earnings. Earnings tend to act as a positive or negative catalyst. All I want you to ask yourself is, how much are you up right now? What's your goal? Where do you plan to sell? Do you plan to sell at 180-day highs? You're not that far away from that, right? So from where it's at right now, right around, 386 to previous resistance levels right around 400. That's about 3.5%. It's all about opportunity cost, right? I understand why you're still holding it. It's still holding above EMA, right? But what I want to remind you is you're still holding it for 4%, right? Because that's 180-day highs. I don't know if that's your target. It has up-and-coming earnings, which can act as a negative catalyst, as well as it has a lot more to lose than it has to gain. This is where I begin. This is just my opinion, and it's not what I want to encourage you to do. I just want to give you my 2 cents. At these overbought levels, this is where I wouldn't hesitate to begin to lock in profits, because you are correct. It could hit 400, it could hit 500. But guess what? You're in the green right now and you're making a profit, and the direction is in your favor. So it still makes sense on why you're holding, because there's no break of pattern and you still are working towards your target exit. But ask yourself a very simple question. Would you rather be someone that goes from being green on a trade to giving it all back and being in the red? Or would you rather be someone that, yeah, you might sell early, but guess what? You still made a profit and you still did something that 90% of the market can't do. So I'm a big believer in never being afraid to lock in profits, but you are correct. I do often sell too early. But I would rather be more consistent for a majority of the time than rather be someone that holds It ends up going in the red. And you just have to ask yourself, how many times? Are you someone that tends to sell too early? And you can always work with that, right? Adjust it. Or are you someone that holds too long and always ends up giving it back? And this is where learning from your mistakes, where that progress begins, right? So I'm excited to follow up with it. I see why you're paying attention to it. You're doing a great job focusing on something that's bullish. I just want to alert you, right, about earnings. I want to remind you, and I want to present to you why someone like myself that's not invested in this, so removing the emotional part, I want to just show you the numbers, right? Your upside, 3% versus your downside. So I think with that, you can make a much more logical decision on, hey, does it make sense to maybe sell half of my position and hold the rest until I break a pattern? Or does it make sense to hold and sell at my target sell price or lock in profits altogether, right? Simple question that you can ask yourself. Let me know if that makes sense. So we have a lot of you guys posting in the ticker call out format. I appreciate it. So, or I guess it's not a lot of you. It's just we got Yushi spamming. All right, I'll do yours. JD and we got Dust. I'll do both of those. So we got JD and then we got DUST. So ticker symbol JD as of right now has been making lower lows, lower highs. Let me ask you this very simple question. You know that I'm not here to tell you what to buy or what to sell. I'm here to just give you my 2 cents, and I want to make it reasonable for you. If you were to look at the past 2 months of how JD has been trading, making lower highs and lower lows, is this something that you want your account to be invested in right now? Is this something that you want to trade? Because it does make sense. If you're in this for a long-term investment, then maybe picking up a couple of shares now, a very light position, might make sense because you plan to hold for a very long period of time. That's a different intention. That's investing, right? If you plan to trade this, meaning that you plan to get in and get out, right now it wouldn't make sense because the overall direction is against you. It is more bearish than it is bullish. It's not impossible to make money, but it's much more difficult when the overall direction is against you. Confirmation and direction is so important. So just keep it easy. I would set alerts or I'd ask yourself first, do you want to invest? Do you want to trade? And if you're, depending on your intention, the thing that's still important is this thing is more bearish than it is bullish based off of recent patterns. And I wouldn't be so eager to take a heavy position right now as we have not proven or given signs of a confirmation of reversal. So I would set my alerts, and once direction becomes more clear, then I would follow up with it as if this thing begins to pick up and it begins to show consistent signs of an uptrend, then guess what? You will naturally just want to invest in it because the direction is in your favor, it's more attractive, and it begins to make more sense rather than hoping that this is the bottom and hoping that when you buy, it begins to pick back up. Hope is a very, I would say, closed-minded way to approach the stock market, right? We can all hope for something to happen, but it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. So we got DUST. I see why you're paying attention to this. So this is an ETF, red flag, right? This is not for everyone. I personally, really like trading ETFs. Just because I like doing it doesn't mean that you should. But one of the things that you should see that's going on as of right now is that it has recently sold off. It broke below EMA. And I would personally set my alerts until it shows indication of reversal. It tends to find a support level here right around $19 to $20. But as of right now, we're getting no indication of an uptrend. What's the inverse of DUST? The inverse of DUST, because this is a gold ETF. Is it, so DUST and then, can you guys remind me what the inverse of DUST is? So dust and, because I know there's it was JDST, what was it? DUST and, can you guess? No, it's not JDST. It's not. These are, no, not JDST and not JNUG. Can you guys remember? Gosh, no. Bro, my brain had a brain fart too. Yeah, I literally haven't, NUGT. There we go, NUGT. I knew it was something that reminded me of gold. So Nugget, right? NUGT. So as of right now, so this is the inverse ETF. So this is great to know, right? So you're waiting for, this is great. I actually wanna branch off of this. NUGT as of right now is going up. the inverse, or this is the inverse, right? So this is, as of right now, showing indication of an uptrend. But look, NUGT has a tendency to be more bearish than bullish. It has these rallies, but then it sells right back off. It has these rallies, but then it sells right back off. It has these rallies, but then it sells back off, right? Then we got DUST. So this isn't super bullish, but it's more bullish than it is bearish. So you're doing a great job focusing on the good deals. Now we need to wait for confirmation, because as of right now, NUGT is bullish, but based off previous patterns, it won't be bullish forever. So I like that you're like, hey, this is a good deal right now. This is a decent buy. And based off recent patterns, I can make nearly 20% if it just returns to $23, or if it returns to 180-day highs, that's 30%. It makes sense on why you're paying attention to it. Now challenge yourself. Challenge yourself not to buy early like everyone else. And I do this often, right? We're all human. We all make mistakes. Let's stop pretending like we're all perfect, right? Focus and challenge yourself to wait for proper confirmation. How many times, for the people watching this, buy too early? How many times do you invest too early? And you're like, dang it, man, like it's still selling off. Well, what the heck? You didn't wait for confirmation. It's like the simple things in life that people tend to overcomplicate. And again, I do it all the time, right? We're human. So I would really encourage you that if you do see value in this, I challenge you to stay patient and to wait for that confirmation. I'm going to put NUGT here because it's the inverse, right? And like we've seen before, it's only a matter of time for it to begin to sell off. So guess what? I'm going to set my alert for when it breaks below EMA, and I expect you to follow up with me and be like, hey, Ricky, NUGT is selling off. I took my first position on DUST because it's now beginning to indicate signs of an uptrend, because then it actually makes sense. Do you get what I mean? So let's go ahead and do a couple more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alrighty. So we have quite a bit of you. I think I might do more than 10 stocks. Should we? Is that good? Do you think that can we earn your thumbs up if we do a little bit more than 10? So we got SOS. Let's go ahead and break this one down. I have to break these. I feel like I've been taking a little bit longer to break them down. But SOS, in my eyes, again, I'm not trying to bash on anyone. In my eyes, SOS, out of nowhere, begins to pump and begins to sell off. Looks like a pump and dump. I'm not here to say that you can't make money off of it. I'm just saying that it's a very high risk, high reward type of approach. Is this something where I would put all my eggs in one basket? Heck no. Can you make money off of it? Well, yeah, if you catch it when it spikes up, or if you're in it already and all of a sudden it begins to pick up, you might get lucky, right? Is this something that when you're just getting started and you're an absolute beginner, that I would encourage you to, hey, this makes sense. This is a safe trade. This is a great way on how to get started. No, this is a high risk, high reward, and you need to understand that. It's not something that I would personally partake in. And if you're an absolute beginner, it's definitely not something that I would focus on as of right now. You need to learn how to walk before you run, and this is just a little bit more of an aggressive moving stock. So pump and dump for sure. And again, I'm not here to speak bad about anyone. I'm not here to speak bad about any company. If this is your niche, if this is your focus, if this is your where you double down, all power to you. I'm never here to say my style is better than your style. At the end of the day, there's so many different ways on how to make money in the stock market. I'm just saying the obvious, right? It's a very high risk, high reward type of stock. And because of that, if you do well in it, then your percentage return is probably going to be pretty high. But if it goes south, you're probably going to do pretty bad, right? So it's just not something that I personally want to partake in, nor would I encourage beginners that are just getting started. So we got David Nguyen. We got PayPal, PYPL. As of right now on the 180-day chart, it's been on the bullish trend. 100% makes sense on why you're paying attention to it. 180-day highs were at 310, sold off to 240. How many of you guys wish you would have picked it up at 240? Guess what? We talked about it. Did we not talk about it when it was at 240? I didn't buy in it. I was focused on other stocks, and it looks like I shouldn't have, right? Because from 240 to where it's at right now, over 11% in just about a week, to maybe a week and a couple of days. Does it have more upside potential? 100%. Look at this. Literally almost at that same spot, same support, 240. Looks like it's indicating signs of a support at the EMA line. It broke right through the SMA line. So look, it's doing very, very well, just like every other tech stock in the NASDAQ market. But guess what? If the NASDAQ market begins to sell off, don't be surprised if your tech stock begins to sell off. I'm not here to scare you. I'm not here to put fear in you or instill fear in you. I'm just here to I want you to understand the correlation of the overall NASDAQ market or the overall tech market and how bullish it's been for the past week and how that's having a positive influence on your tech stocks. So if and when the tech market begins to pull back, just don't be surprised. Be prepared, right? As of right now, it's bullish. We're showing no confirmation of a pullback. We're showing no confirmation of a correction just yet. We're still above EMA. We're still making higher highs and higher lows. It makes sense on why you're paying attention to it. As long as it stays true within that channel, right? This nice little channel of bouncing off the EMA, holding above that on the 4-hour time frame, great. It makes sense on why you're focusing on it. But guess what? Once it pulls back and it breaks below the EMA line, don't be surprised if it begins to pull on back, right? Don't be surprised when the overall NASDAQ market, if we break below EMA and we begin to make lower lows and lower highs, can you be surprised? Can you be surprised that the market gapped up so much that it needs time to breathe and it corrects itself? Don't be surprised. Don't be upset. Be prepared, right? And it's very simple things you can do. Set your alerts. Set, target stop loss or whatever the case might be. Do whatever it is that you can do right now to prepare for your future self, right? So let's go ahead and move on. Let's do about 4 more, yeah? So we got FDX. So we got raw with FDX. So obviously FedEx, right? So is this something that I would view to be a crazy good deal? Not necessarily, but it's consistent. And that's where the reliability and the more conservative approach falls into character, right? If you are someone that's just getting started, you want to learn how to buy, you want to learn how to sell, you want to know how to manage your position size, manage risk, right? You're not really focusing on making money. You're more focused on learning how to either trade or invest. Focusing on stocks that move a little bit slower and that are bullish might be in your best interest, right? This is something that, you might see value in. It's not anything with crazy return. From where it's at right now to previous 180-day highs, it's 7%, and it's not even the best deal right now. Is it consistent? Yeah, it's making higher highs, higher lows. It just recently reported earnings, which acted as a positive catalyst. It was an overreaction. It pulled on back, pushed right on back. Now it pulled on back, and then now it's approaching that 290 once again. So as of right now, it is above EMA. It is showing signs of higher highs and higher lows, which is a step in the right direction. Just, again, understand previous 180-day highs and where we stand right now. This isn't something where you're going to make a crazy amount of money. This is something that's consistent, reliable, and if things go south, because of how it normally moves, it's not very difficult to manage your risk, right? Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. I want to get some juicy ones. If you guys have a top stock, you need to drop that in the comments section. Or in the live chat, my apologies. Top stock, drop it in the live chat. I want to see the live chat look like a matrix. Let's see. Here we go. All right, I'm going to pick 2 at one time. So 2 at one time. There it goes. So we got VZ. All right, VZ, and then I'm going to do probably a little bit more. So we got VZ that I'm going to break down very quick, and then we got PLUG. So I saw those 2 right now. So VZ, as of right now, with a really nice pullback, right? Hit highs at $59, pulled on back, looks a little bit more on the oversold side. It doesn't have to find a support, but if you're someone that wants to invest in VZ as it's been trying to uptrend with this nice little pullback as of right now, it's not the worst price to buy it at based off of overall highs. Again, 7%. What's your downside? Again, this is VZ, Verizon Wireless, multi-billion-dollar telecommunication corporation. It doesn't move very crazy. But if you're someone that's trying to get more conditioned, you're someone that's trying to buy the dips, right? Average up and then lock in profits, and you're trying to do it with something that doesn't move as aggressive because you're trying to learn, right, how to trade, not so much try to make money right now. I think this slower moving stock might be something that you might want to check out. It does have earnings coming up. This is on the 21st, right, of April. So make sure you take that into consideration. But I would set my alert for the break above EMA once it actually begins to indicate signs of an uptrend. Because again, as of right now, although it recently pulled on back, it can easily continue to drop, right? We've seen lower highs and lower lows, especially more now than ever before. Just be prepared. So I'm going to set an alert here as well. So here we go. So we got PLUG. All right, so PLUG is almost the exact opposite. It was very bullish, right, during the pandemic, and then it peaked, and then it's been selling off ever since. It's been making lower lows and lower highs. This isn't something that I would trade right now. Let me explain to you why. Very simple. The overall direction is not in your favor. It's not impossible to make money. It's just more difficult to trade something, meaning buying and selling within a short period of time, as something is selling off. So don't overcomplicate it. As of right now, the direction is not in your favor. If you're trying to buy or invest in right now because you see it to make a recovery a couple months from now or a year from now, then that's up to you, right? But the overall direction right now is not in your favor. As of right now, if it were to make a full recovery, 112%, that makes sense on why you're paying attention to it. But just know that this bullish run that it had, it's just not present right now. It's just not the time. And a lot of the times I think beginners begin to overcomplicate this, right? It's not so much about when you're ready to invest. It's much more about the timing of when you discover an opportunity and when it makes sense to invest in that opportunity. It's all about timing. And as of right now, although it is oversold based off of previous highs, I just don't have the confidence in its recovery because of how bearish it's been. So it needs to prove itself to us, right? So let's just set our alerts. Once it's more bullish and once it proves it, to us that, hey, I'm a stock worth investing in, I'm a company worth investing in because I'm actually showing signs of recovery and showing signs of growth. At least have some form of indication of growth before you choose to buy the dip on something and hope it just, naturally recovers. So I just know I've been burned a lot of times. And again, I'm just speaking from my experience where I try to buy the dip on something and I just hope. How many times have you ever done that, right? And you just hope that it recovers. Why hope when you can just wait for confirmation? Again, very simple things. So let's go ahead and do another one. So we got someone saying paper hands. If paper hands means that you lock in profits and you do something that 90% of the market can't do, then yeah, you can call me paper hands. And if, we've made a joke before, you can call me poop hands. You know what you can't call me? Bag holder, right? Which is a lot of the diamond hand people. It's a title they have across their forehead. But at the end of the day, again, don't let anyone ever encourage you in any way or influence you to do something that you don't want to do. If you want to lock in profits because you're just focusing on learning, then let that be your focus. Lock in profits. Who cares about the money? You have nothing but time to make money. Focus on learning how to trade and invest rather than trying to make the most money now when you plan to trade with a lot more in the future. So, alrighty. Let's go ahead and see. So we got QCOM from Justin, and we got VIX. Let's go ahead and do those two. So QCOM. All right. So QCOM has been making a recovery. It's been holding up here. I just don't know if it's going to recover or make a full recovery. It hasn't really began to indicate signs of an uptrend since it's been consolidating here. So I'd love to see this thing make higher highs and higher lows, but we haven't gotten any confirmation of that just yet. I'm going to keep this one super simple. I just think that there's a lot of pullback potential because of how bearish it's been. So because of that, instead of trying to buy at this potentially overbought level, let's stay patient. And if it begins to indicate signs of an uptrend, we can add up to it, right? Average up into it. But you can save yourself from a very big dip if it begins to sell off by waiting for that confirmation. So let's just make sure that we set our alerts. And if this thing begins to sell off, then we'll wait for it to fully sell off and we'll be able to buy it at a much cheaper price. So I appreciate that one though. VIX. So that was VIX. VIX as of right now has been selling off, lower lows, lower highs. And yeah, this one has to do with market volatility. As of right now, it's at 180-day lows. Is it something that you potentially want to partake in? Sure, but as of right now, is it oversold? Yes. How many times have we said this? Just because something is oversold does not make it a good buy right now. It can continue to sell off. What makes now any different than last week? It was oversold last week, but it's now even more oversold. So it's not about, again, the time you want to buy. It's about the timing and when it makes sense. So I would really set your alert. Just if you're someone that can tolerate pullbacks, if you're someone that can tolerate and manage loss, then buy whenever you want. But for those that are just getting started, for those that tend to buy too much in the very beginning, or for those that don't want to buy in early because, again, you're just getting started, confirmation can play a huge role in building your confidence and your experience, especially with trading. Learn when to buy, not when you want to buy, right? As of right now, it's set my alert for the break above 18, and once it begins to indicate actual signs of an uptrend, then that can begin to make a little bit more sense. Until then, let it bleed. The more it sells off, the better deal you can get. Think about it that way. The more patient you are, the better deal you can simply get. And I'm going to leave it at that for our Sunday Stock Talk. So I had a lot of fun with you guys. I felt like we ran through quite a bit of different stocks. As of right now, the NASDAQ market is down about 0.25%, which isn't very much. I'm excited to follow up with the overall market and see if we have another green week? How many of you guys are excited to have another green week? How many of you, a very simple question, are prepared? If the market begins to pull back, what will you begin to do? If you're an investor, you're probably going to hold your position and just buy more at lower levels, right? That kind of makes sense. But if you're a trader, are you going to manage your risk? Are you going to reduce your position size? Do you want the market to crash so you can buy them for a better deal? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know what it is that you are planning for the market to do and how you plan to prepare for it. So I will see you. For those that are part of Learn, Plan, Profit, we had a couple people join us over the weekend for the little sale that we ran. If you guys didn't join or didn't take part of the sale, but you want to join and you want a little discount, click the second link down below. First, learn a little bit more about what it has to offer. And if you find it to be a good fit for you, direct message me on Discord or direct message me on Instagram. Friendly reminder, there are so many fake accounts on YouTube that comment with like WhatsApp or something like that or over email. I never message you first. If you receive a message from me and it was not something that you initiated, just know it is not from me. Very simple. I don't use WhatsApp, I don't call you sir, nothing like that. If you have a question for me, message me on Instagram. I only have one Instagram account, and message me on Discord if you're part of our TechButt Solutions Discord. You guys can join our Facebook group, and that's that first link down below. Altogether, I wish you guys nothing but the best. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams, let your passion be what drives your success, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note.